this is technical session number 21. This is going to be network servers. So here we go. All right. Server is a computer program that provides services to other computer programs and their users in the same or other computers. In the client-server model, a server awaits and fulfills requests from a client, which may be running in the same or other computers. Some servers will be dedicated to a specific task, such as hosting websites, and they are called dedicated servers. Non-dedicated servers may perform multiple tasks, such as hosting a website and serving as the administrator's daily work session. Robert, would you read this slide, please?
Purpose: to store, process, and deliver web pages to users. How it works: the web server itself is configured with web hosting software, which listens for inbound requests on port 80 and or port 4483 made by clients using a browser. They can be connected to the internet, where they can be reached from anywhere, or they can be contained within a network and are available only within the network, called an intranet server. Apache HTTP server and Microsoft's Internet Information Services, IIS.
Thank you. Why would this server probably be seated, be able to access on port 80 or port 443? Someone let me know why. Possible reason why. Go ahead, Glenn.
On both of those, the internet. If I'm right, port 80 is HTTP. So basically, it's just having the server connect into the internet as far as.
All right, thank you. Hunter, did you want to add something?
I mean, 443 is HTTPS for the secure version.
Very much. Good job. All right. This is the way web servers work. If everyone would look at the diagram, your browser connects to a server and requests a page. The server machine is running as a web server, sends back the requested page. Okay. So that's you sitting at your computer. You type in www.google.com, connect to the server. The server sends you back your request. A page shows up on your computer screen. All right. Let's see here. Susan, could you read this slide, please?
Okay. File servers. The purpose: to use or to store user files and make them available to other users. Advantages: ease of access to files for collaboration, centralized security management, centralized backups. Protocols: it uses file transfer protocol on ports TCP 20 and 21 to receive and send data from users. It also uses a standard system of file management hidden behind the scenes through a user interface used to access this server. Either SMB server message block, which is a Windows server, or AFP, Apple filing protocol, which is an Apple server. Location: file servers will almost always be on the internal network.
All right, thank you very much. All right. Does anybody wonder what they used to do back in the days before computers? Say you're in an office building and you're on the 23rd floor and you need some information, say from the mailroom, which is on the bottom floor. Does anybody know what they used to use for messaging? Anyone?
So that the tubes, the chutes?
Yes, yes. Can you imagine using that nowadays? Just for messaging and trying to send and receive messages or for communications in building?
I actually worked in a logistics office, my first one, when I moved back to Jacksonville, it was a really old building and they still had the messaging tubes in place, all the brass.
Oh, wow, they still work?
No, they didn't work, but they still had them all
Okay.
in place. So it was kind of cool. Like they came down between like some of the offices and stuff like that and ran all
Yeah.
along the ceilings. It was hilarious.
Yeah. So of course that's what a file server is now. Thankfully, we don't have to use those tubes anymore. Allows a lot more people access to the information, the resources that are on the network. So the servers make ease of access possible. Okay, Twadros, could you read this slide, please?
Okay. Print servers. Purpose: to make printers available to users. How it works: a dedicated computer or software inside a computer used to manage one printer or multiple printers. It provides the spooler service to the printer to accept, manage, and store print requests. Many enterprise printers come with a built-in print server, which makes using a dedicated machine for the whole puzzler unnecessary. Connections. Server might be connected to a computer, then shared on the network. The network adapter and the user of software is built into the printers through an adapter card. Protocols. Print servers use standard printing protocols. SMB, server message block. IPP, internet printing protocol. LDP, line printer daemon.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, a print server is another way to access resources in your network. So you don't have to have a runner come to your office. You need something printed, they have to run it down the hall to the printer. Hopefully you have a printer on your floor and then bring it back to you. You can do all of that yourself. So this is another tool to make use of network resources. All right, here. Zalalam, could you read this for me, please? I guess we'll just go through the basics here. Just read what the tab says and whatever the highlighted.
Okay, let's start from
Yes.
the above.
Okay.
General,
Mhm.
sharing, courses, advanced, and color management, security, and device setting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is one of the tabs that you would have on your print server properties tab. All right, and here the advanced tab is up, and as you can see here, it allows the printer availability time. So in this case, it is always available, but it can be set to certain times when it would be available. And then when available from is set, anytime outside of the specified time, that printer would not be available. Priority here is set as 1, so that's probably, don't quote me here, it might be high priority. Here, the current driver is set. And next to that, if a new driver needs to be acquired, you'd press that button and you could download a new driver. Let's see, spool print documents to program finishes, printing factor. That's the spooling program there, and it's set to start printing automatically once you send a job to the printer. Okay. Let's see, print spool documents first. This shows, I guess, priorities here that have been dictated within the office to what you print and when. Okay.
What does it mean by spool then?
Spooler is, let's see. Hey, Kelly, just in general, a spooler.
Well, the spooler is just kind of like it's the queue. It's where everything is loaded in line, where all the jobs are queued up, ready to print. They just call it the spooler. It was like, that heralds back to the days when it was just straight up, like newspaper printing and stuff like that. All the next print jobs were lined up in the spool, ready to go. This in essence maintains that name, but it's basically like the line every document is waiting its turn to be printed. That's the spooler.
So when it says spool print documents, so that the program finishes faster, it means queue documents.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Sibley, would you read this slide, please? You available? All right, Jerusalem, could you read this slide, please?
Sure, it's DHCP servers. Purpose to automate the process of providing an IP configuration to devices on the network. You want me to continue?
Yes, read the whole slide, please.
How it works. These servers respond to broadcasts-based requests for an IP configuration from internal network devices function. It offers the following information to DHCP clients: IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DNS server. DHCP servers are used in multiple environments. Enterprise DHCP should be running redundancy on the central server due to running more than one DHCP server. Home and wireless routers typically run a DHCP service inside of the device to give all the home devices IP addresses.
All right, thank you very much. Does anyone know why we use DHCP servers? Learned a little bit about it yesterday. We know why it assigns IP addresses, but why would we want a server to do that? Have it automated. DW.
I think it's to give it logical addresses, so that way because every single device doesn't come with its own IP address, so it has to be given one. So the traffic needs to know where it ends up at. I think that's one.
Okay. All right, Hunter.
I believe you said it was faster than doing the static addresses and going and manually entering everything yourself.
That's a good answer. Glenn.
I was gonna kind of basically repeating off of him, but the process is too long, and I think that the calculations are faster on a DHCP than it is, to do it by any calculations through via CIDR or any other method.
All of those are good answers. And what I did not hear mentioned was to keep from having duplicate IP addresses. If you have two devices that have the same IP address, you're going to get a lot of chaos on that network. And it may take you a moment or two to figure out what's really going on, because you're automatically assuming everything is set up correctly. But if you have two devices on a network with the same IP address, you're going to have real problems. All right. All right, this is the DHCP server request process. Computer on the left, number one, can you give me an IP address? DHCP server, sure. Do you want 192.168.1.55? Computer back. Yes, please, if it's still available. And then you get an acknowledgement from the DHCP server. It says it's all yours. Here's the address and scope options. All right, that's kind of simplified, but that's generally how it works. Once you log on to your network, if you've been disconnected from the network, your computer will make a request from the DHCP server to get an IP address. And this is a process, and this is what goes on behind the scenes. Correct, Susan, three-way handshake. All right. Here. Raekwon, are you available to read this slide, please? Okay. All right. Safal, are you available?
Yes.
Okay. Could you read this slide, please?
DNS Servers Purpose to solve the domain names, website names to IP address and vice versa. Client configuration. Clients are configured with the IP address of 2 DNS servers, usually through the DHCP, and make a request of the server using what are called queries. How it works. Each DNS server has a database called a zone file, which maintains a record of host names to IP address and mappings. The organization DNS server will be configured to perform the lookup of IP address for which it has no entry in its database by making a request of DNS server on the internet. Locations. DNS servers can be located either side, inside the network or outside of the network, the internet.
All right, thank you. All right. So with DNS servers, their main purpose is to resolve domain names so that you don't have to try to remember what the IP address of the website that you're trying to locate. That way you can just type in google.com rather than to have to remember to type in 8.8.8.8. Okay. All right. Here. All right, Cynthia, would you read this slide, please?
Proxy servers to make internet connections on behalf of users in a network. Benefits: prevent users from making direct connections to the internet and provide a point of exit at which you can control their access in a variety of ways. How it works: a company large enough to use a proxy server uses it as an intermediate server as follows. 1. Client makes the request to the proxy. 2. The proxy substitutes its own IP address for the request using NAT and then performs the actual request. 3. The proxy provides results back to the client. This is useful due to the overall control of access, caching, URL scanning, and content scanning, assuring all access is done with high security.
All right, thank you very much. Valerie, what would a proxy server be used for? Does anyone know? Just a guess. Okay, proxy servers are more likely used in business to keep employees from accessing certain websites. So what happens is a website is typed in. If it's on the list of non-accessible sites, you will not be able to reach that site from within the network. That's the primary job of the proxy server, is to kind of make sure that users do not access certain types of websites during work hours.
So in other words, your employee shouldn't be slacking off and dialing.
Yeah, know how that goes. All right.
Mostly they try to keep you off places like salary.com and stuff like that, so you can make sure you're getting paid right.
Yeah. All right. This is how to configure a proxy server. You're going to open the Internet Options applet. You would go to the Connections tab, click on the LAN settings, local area network settings, and you would enable the proxy server. And then you would add the server's address and port numbers. Okay. There's a lab in test out where you will be doing this. You'll probably be seeing that soon. Yes, Stephen, and not safe for work, correct. All right. Here. All right, Aster, could you please read this slide?
Server purpose to send, receive, and manage emails. How it works. To be a mail server, the computer must be running an email server packet. The most popular ones are Microsoft Exchange, SendMail, Postfix, and XM, although there are dozens of others. Client configuration, users will use a client email protocol to retrieve their email from the server. Two of the most common are PAP3, which is a retrieve-only protocol, and IMAP4, which has more functionality and can be used to manage the email on the server. SMTP is used to send emails. Management, usually managed by either big companies like Google, Gmail, Microsoft, Outlook, or Yahoo. Internally, in an organization where the IT department is responsible for keeping the mail server running 24/7.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay. All right, and this is a diagram that shows basics of how you send email and how it ends up on the mail server, and shows you how emails are retrieved and sent on to the location they're supposed to go to. You have an email client. They send out the message using SMTP on port 25. Message is sent to a queue, routed, sent over to the correct company that the email should be going to. So in this case, email is being sent to Mindspring for one of their recipients. This recipient has POP3 set up to retrieve their emails. So they'll use port 110 and the message will be sent to their computer. All right, let's see here. Okay, Stephen, can you read slide 8 for me, please?
Authentication server purpose to authenticate user or computers to the network so that they can access network resources. How it works. The authentication server stores user or device credentials, such as usernames and password, validates an authentication request, and determines the permission assigned to each user, device, or group. Active Directory is the authentication server for Windows domains. Authentication. For most users, the required credentials are a username and password. To increase security, some systems require multiple items in addition to a username to authenticate users, such as a password and a security token.
Okay, thank you. We'll probably touch a little bit more on this with authentication and security a little later on in the course. So this is just a general breakdown of what an authentication server, what its job is on the network. All right. Does anyone have any questions? This is the end of our slideshow here, but I'll take any questions that you may have. Okay, this one was short but sweet. All right.
The main trick with the servers is the name tells you what it does.
Sorry, guys, I didn't see your hands up. Tistow?
Yeah, 3.
Say again?
Number 3, slide number 3.
Okay, you want to see slide number 3 again?
Yeah.
Just a moment. Okay. All right.